Hello and welcome to another Spirit Flow with Crow. Tonight, I pulled a bunch of cards, did a bunch of readings, did some meditations, and there's so much info to download that I couldn't possibly go through it all. So what I'm going to do is do a little recap. As with all new beginnings and old ends, is that we're getting done with 2020. Come on, everybody, celebrate! Woo! Wow, that was a hard year. That was a crazy year, and I know we're all searching and trying to figure out what the hell happened. Well, guess what? A lot of stuff happened, but a lot of bad stuff, but a lot of good stuff. Because guess what? When you go through some dark times where there's catalysts for change, your spirit and the way you do things change as well. And so I'm very excited for what's going to come of this dark time, of what's going to come on the light time. So I basically drew a bunch of cards for what's happening in the next year. And as in life, we live in duality. It's kind of a roller coaster. Next year is going to be a roller coaster. So the first card I drew was the Devil, which means you got to kind of have to, who or what is the devil in your life right now? So it could be habits, could be people, could be things you want to change, things you want to shift. So the devil isn't necessarily bad. It's more like calling you out on what is going wrong in your life and what's happening. And so this is January, this is next month. So basically, new beginnings. So spirit and intuition is calling you out, saying, what do you need to do in this next part of your life? And as with all, New Year's resolutions, it's calling you out. It's challenging you to be better. We move on to goodness, new beginnings, exciting new phases in your life. After you figure out the devil, you're going to start shifting things, and society and the world is going to start shifting. And then we're going to shift into some new beginnings and some awesome badassness where the fires in your life get ignited and you start creating and doing new things that you never knew possible because you figured out the devil in the details, which is a catalyst for the death card. Next comes the death card. So what that means, I always love the death card. It doesn't mean it's death. It means it's something in your life needs to end in order for the new beginning to take roots and become full. So your old habits from your devil and the new beginning that you're birthing, the seeds of change that you're putting in your life, there's something that needs to end in order for your seeds to take off. So you have to figure out you have to look for what in your life needs to change. This is some crazy stuff. If you guys want to know the cards and everything, just DM me and I'll let you know all the cards and the significance and everything. But after you've dealt with the ending of something that's been bogging you down, we move to the fruits of your labor. So after you end that, your new business, your new love, your new thing that you've been trying to shift gears into, you finally get to pick the fruits of your labor. And after that, you move to the sun. So a great big opening. Like when you step outside and you feel those sun rays and it just feels like abundance and you feel good and amazing. And this can also mean with society and COVID and the politics. It's not going to happen until about the 5th or 6th month, but there's going to be a great cleansing it feels prosperity. You feel tapped into yourself. You feel healthy and wealthy. Everything is going to be working. So I think this is when it's about to wrap up. This could be the Olympics. When the Olympics start happening, this is when society and yourself and family and everybody, we get to finally hang out again, and COVID is moved on. And I think the Olympics is going to bring the whole world together, which is going to be crazy. The next card is a dark card. It's about depression and kind of darkness. It's just like entanglement of web. And so after this huge abundance thing, there's going to be a little bit of depression. What I said is it's going to be a yin-yang kind of a year. It's a roller coaster. So it's going to be a tangled up web. There's going to be people that are fully abundancing and people that are kind of hanging on to the darkness, and there's going to be a clash. We move on to the middle of the year. The middle of the year is possessions and material gain. So this one, so basically this whole year is going to be a crazy shit show. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be amazing, glorious things happening, and there's going to be some dark times. So you have to be a solid, what I would focus on for this new year is becoming more solid, mentally solid, growing calluses on your mind so that you can deal with hard situations and hard feelings and hard emotions. If anything pops up, you know you've been through some stuff and you know how to deal with things. So that's what I would focus on this next year. And so what these cards are saying is, or it's not even what the cards are saying, it's kind of what I'm feeling for this next year, is that things are going to be shifting in your life. They're going to be going good, and you're going to gain some material gains that you've never had before. And what this is saying is, remember, those are material, so don't act possessive or materialistic with those material things that you're going to be acquiring. Use those for good and come from a place of solidarity and badassery. And this new wealth that's coming, don't just spend it willy-nilly and go back into the devil, the death of your old ways and the old thought processes, because all this is shifting. So it's just a big shift and cleansing of old ways and new beginnings. So don't be materialistic with your new materials, and your world will be brought to you. So it's going to be crazy. You're going to gain a bunch of wealth, and the world will open up and be full of abundance. It's just going to be a roller coaster. There's going to be a really good month, and a really bad month, a really good month, and a really bad month. And the last part of the year, so after we get through the middle part, it's going to be a joyous, wonderful, crazy, awesome time where we feel rejuvenated, we feel healed, we feel like we're on the right path. And whenever that happens, there's always the dark side of it. So when we finally shine a light on society and who we are, there's going to be a dark side. So what's going to happen on the back end of the year is that society or politics or the COVID, we're going to figure out, it's going to shine some light because of how good the times are. It's going to shine light on what happened and who we are and what has happened. So when that happens, there's a trickster. There's going to be a big concealment of what really happened. And we can't take the back end of the year lightly. So what this is saying is that make sure you're meditating, make sure you're building a solid foundation for this next year. So start new habits, like how we all, like we're going to work out, we're going to meditate more. Take those New Year's resolutions and make sure that you have a solid base, that no matter what happens and what truths get revealed and which levels of psyche get shown, make sure your level is high enough that you can deal with anything, and realize that the love that you have and the group of people that is around you and who is loving you is there and is solid. And so basically use the first half of the year as a building block with all your abundancy and your new ways of living and your new businesses and your new loves for the back end of the year, summer, winter, through the back end of the year, where there's going to be some truth dumps and there's going to be some realness happening. And on the last month It's the so basically it's 4 months of swords. So swords are always kind of heavy cards, where it's truth and getting shine the light and being able to show your strength. So it's not too horrible. It's not looking too dark. So there's a bunch of bright lights through it. But overall, what I'm feeling is that through the shifting and the consciousness shift through 2020, 2021 is going to be, there's going to be a lot of light bulbs popping on, which there's going to be people trying to cover the bulbs. And then once we reveal what the bulb's energy source is the realness, the foundation of society and who we are and how we live our lives. Not with just society, but with who we are. So it's a very, very catalytic year. And I believe 2022, it'll be after this year. So we had a super dark year. This year is going to be a transitioning year for ways you do your business, the way you do your love life, the way you do your family, the way who you are becoming, your spiritual side. Every single shade of who you're becoming and who you want to be is shifting and changing. And so what this is saying is that plunge yourself into the dark, do the hard things. There's always two parts of your mind. There's the easy side and the hard side. So make sure you are tough enough to deal with the hard side of your brain. And it's a year of coming out. It's a year of, we've just done basically a whole half year of quarantine. Basically this year, you get to come out, the tide is finally lifted, and we could go out and gather the abundancy that's been stagnant. So the engine's going to start firing back up. And with the start of the engine, abundancy and goodness and fruits of your labors, you could finally start picking those. And so feel excited. Feel excited. Don't feel depressed about 2021. And last thoughts is the energy for 2021 is, it's going to take a lot of hard work, but the hard work's going to pay off. And so with your New Year's resolutions, every year you should do this anyway, is to do a yearly recap of what happened last year and a yearly futuristic goal setting set of what you want to do for next year. So I encourage you to look back on 2020 and the dark times and the quarantines and all the stuff that bubbled up. Look back at the habits and your friendships and your love and your business, all the thing, your work life, everything. See what bubbled up, see what's been troubling you, and transform it into goals for the next year. So I encourage all of you to get your journals out, get a piece of paper out if you don't have a journal, but write down some freaking goals and write down some things that you don't want to bring into 2021. And I just feel excited. All this is saying is, here's a challenge. Are you ready to step up to the challenge? Are you ready to step back and be back into your own quarantine? Or are you ready to step out of your own quarantine and start getting to work and start doing it? So that's what I just did. So Happy New Year's, everyone. I'm so excited for what's happening, and I have some big announcements coming in 2021 that I can't wait to share with all of you. I love you all so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful new year. Aho.